Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to some more Sims for Create a Sim, particularly the D&D Characters Create a Sim, where I take my D&D characters that I've come up with backstories, their class, race, all that etc. stuff, and try to make sim versions of them. Today we're actually going to be making Orianna Vyria. I had to remember the last name. Cause technically in some ways, for some races in D&D, last names are not really a thing, or they're not as important. But for the purpose of Sims, I need last names for everyone in some sort of way. So yeah, but you may know, you should be able to see the drawing now. I have drawn all of my characters, and I do at least include the drawing in like towards the beginning for about a minute or two, or a little over 2 minutes, I think, so that you can see sort of what I'm using to base the sim off of. So this is my creation, and I'm trying to make a sim based off that creation. Now, obviously, I'd make some creative tweaks here and there, a few changes based off of what the Sims has available to it and how things are sort of coming along as I'm creating these characters. Plus, they are my characters, even if they have a drawn form. They're still my D&D characters that I came up with out of my head. So, yeah, I can have a little bit of creative freedom here. So, yeah, Orianna is a homebrew race, which is a mantid. So, there's like some homebrew races, they only have like a few paragraphs written about them with their stats and stuff like that. It's like a one-page thing, but this one had like 5 or 6 pages on it. Like, this was a detailed homebrew class, and I honestly love it. So mantids are basically praying mantis people. A lot of people find praying mantises creepy, but I, for some reason, have, like, this strange fascination with them. Like, there's a lot of bugs that I just do not like. I am not a bug person whatsoever, but when it comes to praying mantises, I don't know. For some reason, I really like them. I like trying to, like, catch especially the baby ones, and I've let the baby ones walk all over my arms, and, like, I've even tried to get near some of the bigger ones, but when they get bigger, they try to fly away, so they're not as easy to catch. One time I did actually have... was it last year? It was last year or the year before last. There was like this weird colored praying mantis at my house. Like, I tried looking it up, but it was like black and gray almost. Like, it wasn't black, like it was like a dark gray and a light gray, realistically, and it was like speckled / striped on the back of it. It was definitely a female praying mantis, and like, it didn't grow very big, which usually the female praying mantises are pretty big. The main reason why I could tell that this one was for surely a female was because of the back of it. The little, I forgot what it's called, but, you know, we're gonna go with butt. The butt area is quite large on female praying mantises, and this one definitely had quite a large butt end there. So I definitely know she was a female one, and I think even after I relocated her, we did actually come across a, like, little egg sac. But, my dad had greenhouses, and it was before, like, he's no longer doing anything with the greenhouses, but he was still last year. So it was turning winter. Like, this was like a late blooming praying mantis, because I came across it when it was quite small. It was staying in the same area. It was very close to my car, and I was excited to see this praying mantis every single day. But then it was starting to get really, really cold, and this praying mantis wasn't really moving too much, but every once in a while you'd see her move, or she would be in a slightly different location. But I could tell that the cold was probably getting a little too much for her, and the fact that she was slightly a late bloomer, I was like, you have a lot of praying mantis life left to live. So I actually ended up catching it, and it was one of the only adult ones that I've ever caught. But the thing is like I said, it was cold. She wasn't really moving as much. So I took her up and put her in the greenhouse, and after she'd been in the greenhouse, she moved around quite a bit, and it got to the point where it was hard to find her because she was hiding in all the plants. But anyway, yeah, that's my whole thing with praying mantises. So I had to make a praying mantis race, in all honesty, and I came across this homebrew class, and, like, it has, like, 3 different types of, mantids. One of them's the Oracle, which is what I want her to eventually be, but, like, they actually end up developing, like, a literal third eye on their forehead and stuff like that, which I think is really cool, and, like, I loved this whole homebrew class so much. And they definitely seem to go slightly Asian inspired with the mantids, which I don't know if there was a reason for that, but I was okay with it. Totally okay with it. And all of them that I seen, they did have hair, so that was one of the human qualities that the mantid gets, was that they had hair. And a lot of times it was long, and it was pretty much always represented as a really dark color, mainly black. So that's why I kept true to that in creating this character. She does have very long black hair. So obviously I give the sim version of her very long black hair. I think I literally have her eyes as big as possible, because technically, other than Tarja, which is my spider person, view at your own risk. I know some people have severe spider phobia, so even just seeing her slightly might But, yeah, with her, I didn't make her eyes quite as large in the drawing, just because spiders tend to have slightly smaller eyes, but they have a bunch of them. But with the mantid and one other insect creature, which you'll be seeing later, I made their eyes huge, but this is as big as I could get the sim eyes, so she has, like, huge eyes, and I made them look a little bit more, try to make them look slightly translucent in a way, just because a lot of bugs' eyes, they're, like, the same colors, their skin slightly translucent looking in some sort of ways. Like, I don't think they're actually translucent, they just sort of look that way because they are a similar color to their skin tone usually. So yeah, that's what I was trying to go for with her eyes. I will say, with at least two of my bug people, which was Tarja and Orianna here, I did maximize, like, the as much as Sims would let me with their bottoms, because, you know, just because of the whole spider and praying mantis back end is usually quite large. So I try to represent that, obviously, in my drawing. She actually has, like, a praying mantis back end, but I can't do that in Sims, so she just gets a large butt. But, yeah. So I think she actually turned out pretty adorable. She definitely looks alien-like in a way. I guess partially because it is Sims. She doesn't look as much praying mantis-y. With my bug creatures, a lot of them I didn't give them, like, actual feet. Like, they either have, like, a pointed tip, or they just have, like, she has, like, this weird sort of almost shaped like feet, but there's no toes or anything involved. And, like, for her and the next one, like, they don't really have nose features or mouth features because they're down towards that point that's down below there. But for Sims, obviously I can't get rid of their mouth or their nose, so I think that partially makes her look more alien than bug-like, but I hope the antennas, at least the antennas to me, sort of help with that bug feel, so hopefully you think that too. I also do give her these wings that I have, which are like insect wings. So they're mostly translucent, and you can't really see them unless you're, like, super close to her, but I am still trying to stick with the slightly Asian theme. I'm not going, like, strong Asian, but, like, you know, like, it's inspired by that sort of look is what I was going with her. But I do really think she turned out adorable. I haven't talked about any of her stuff, so let me do that right now. Obviously, I have mentioned her race. Her class is Bard and Druid, and her subclasses are College of Lullabies and Circle of the Land, particularly the Grasslands. So the College of Lullabies is a homebrew thing as well, but it's like sort of like a sleep aid. I do want her to be more supporty, but also then have a few attacks and stuff like that. So that's sort of what I was going with her. That she sort of left her homeland to sort of explore, teach others about her race, because I imagine, to me, a lot of the bug races well, actually, there is a new bug race that is now official, and I don't know if it's any bugs or if it's particular bugs. I haven't fully looked at it, but my boyfriend was, like, super excited about it. But yeah, so, before that, when I made her, there was really no bug race. They were all homebrew stuff, so I sort of treat the bug races as, like, they're slightly rare to come across, like, so, you know, not as many people know as much about them, or maybe don't know them at all. So she's sort of trying to spread the word about her people and get people to know them a little bit better. And also, I think she just sort of has this urge to actually help people and just see the outside world and stuff like that. I will say there's... I sort of imagine, like, her people, because, like, if you know anything about praying mantises, the female ones are not so nice to the male ones after a certain deed has been done. I was surprised to see one male praying mantis outside of my house one year survived, and he went from one female to the other and somehow lived both encounters. Don't know how that happened, but he had some of the best luck ever. But to me, I would imagine that maybe, I almost imagine that in this, her little race, that what males exist are sort of like hidden away. Like, so when you first come, like, I also only saw drawings of female versions, but I do want to imagine that male versions exist, obviously, but I want to imagine that they're hidden away because there is some odd urge that they have to try to go after the males. So, like, they try to control that a little bit so that the male population doesn't die off, and then thus the mantid population die off. So part of me just has a little giggle in my head that they almost have to find ways to protect the males because they know that there's some of the females that might not be able to control the urges to potentially bite their head off. And I don't mean figuratively. Mantises are quite strange creatures. Obviously, another thing I do want to point out real quick, she is another character that in a way technically has 4 arms. She has the 2 arms that has like the more human-like hands, and then she has the other 2 that has the little, what are they called? I don't know. I keep thinking a cipher when I'm trying to describe them, the Pokemon, but yeah. So, but again, I do have a thing that gives me 2 arms, but it seems to not work on female Sims very well at all. So sadly, I can't use those, plus one of hers technically doesn't even have hands on it, so I just didn't bother to worry about that and stress out about that. But let's go to her Sim self. So she does have the aspiration of musical genius. She is mostly a bard. I did create a harp for her, but afterwards I really liked the idea with her a violin, and I actually found her some poses that you can pose with a violin, so I did include those in the screenshots, which you probably should be seeing now. I like the idea that she uses instruments more along the lines of the violin and the harp. I did draw a harp that she could have, but again, I want to imagine she also plays the violin as well. But her traits that I want to give her are Green Fiend, loves the outdoors, music lover, proper, and neat. Now, obviously, with Sims as it is, you cannot have 5 traits. But again, I am hoping to use a mod when I go do the mini-series. So, but just in case it doesn't work, the 3 main ones I gave her are proper, loves outdoors, and music lover. Proper just because I do imagine she actually is really sort of well put together, comes off very nice, she does think about others, and the love outdoors, obviously, she's a mantid. She's based off of her praying mantis. So, yeah. And that also sums up the Green Fiend as well, but that also goes into her helping others. And then the music lover is just her intrigued by music and the harp and the violin. And her neat trait, again, it comes along with the helping thing situation. I imagine that she would be a really good person to go to as a therapist. I don't know, she gives me those vibes ever since I created this character. Like, you may have a hard time getting past looking at a praying mantis looking like person, but once you get past that, she's great to being a therapist and like helping you out and stuff like that. Really good if you're having sleeping troubles. This is the girl you want to talk to. So yeah, so that is the traits and why I picked them out and stuff like that. I hope you like Orianna. Let me know down in the comments below. Sorry if praying mantises are slightly creepy to you, but hopefully Orianna is not really that creepy to you. So, you know, hopefully the human side of her outweighs the praying mantis side of her. But let me know down in the comments below. I hope you're looking forward to the future characters as well. We are actually on 27. I did finally use the numbers. So yeah, woo! But, so we don't have too many more to go, but we do have some more to go. Like, comment, subscribe, you know all that lovely YouTube goodiness. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. But until then, bye-bye!